The artist's brain is an independent variable. When brought into the everyday world, their senses find meaning in even the most mundane observations. The reaction must only be told by the artists themselves. I'm Loverboy, and this is an experiment.
Today's guest is an artist, music producer, and all-around music guru, finding himself drumming in bands with some of the greats, producing and drumming for some of today's biggest artists, and still finding time to make his own beautiful music. This man is a lover for all things smiles, quality music, and surrounding himself with good people. Please welcome today's guests, one of my good friends, Curtis Kelley.
Hey, what's up, my boy Bradley? Love you, man. I'm happy to be on here.
One of the things I wanted to start with is this season and wrapping up this season. This will be the last episode. Is about who you surround yourself with and how it affects your life.
We met through another mutual friend of ours, Louis Futon. Tyler Minford is a super talented guy, and we met through mutually enjoying his funky music. And it was funny. Ariel Shrum introduced you to me as, "Hey, what's up, man? Like, I met you. You should go meet yourself."
The amount of people who've told us that we're such similar people, and they hit it on the head. I mean,
yeah, man. I mean, on night one, it was like, "Oh yeah, cool. So you got your own little studio. Oh, you record drums. Oh, sounds good. You got ADD. Oh, you like weed. You like driving. Oh, you can't keep track of things. So you have the little like silly methods to keep yourself creatively engaged." And it was just great, man. It was like one ride home later, and then, as firm of friends as you can have. And it's kind of new for me too, to be honest, having people that I absolutely love beyond all measure around me. Because you gotta have to do a lot of groundwork. You just have to, first of all, you have to decide the kind of person that you want to be and the kind of people that you want to be around. And once you make that choice, that conscious choice within yourself, I feel like the universe goes about delivering people and experiences to you, and you're not going to be able to show up for them unless you're prepared for them to begin with. And I got to a point after about 3 years here where I was questioning a lot of my relationships, just in terms of, are these the right people? Are these people inspiring me every day? And do I really align in like belief systems or values or whatever? And that was a really beautiful thing. As soon as I made the choice within myself to care about making music and being in line with the things that I thought made me the best version of myself, then the best people that I could have in my life emerged. You know what I mean?
I think the biggest thing that I've learned from LA and just being out here is, if you really want to find a good group of friends, stop looking for 20 people. Go find one really, really good person who you love and who you genuinely enjoy being with and feel like a better person around. And I promise you, you're going to find 20 more people that they surround themselves with that are the same people. That's somewhere I want to start with you. Is how did you get this massive group of friends that are not only such sweet people, but some of the highest talent of music in the world?
Well, I was lucky, man. I went to Berklee College of Music in Boston, and I was 2012 to 2016. And I met some dear friends who were also incredible musicians, like Ariel Shrum, for instance, amazing trumpet player and writer, and just lover of all things groovy. I met him in like 5th grade, and met another friend of ours, Nicholas Vienaglu, in high school. So I had this like tight little group. I started a band with, my first band way back in the day, called the Interlopers, and we went to school together. So then, you take like a family to school like that, and it develops this thing. So leaving school, I was lucky enough to have a strong community from Berklee that was already here. So I moved to LA, and I lucky enough to have a large network of people from school, and we all had that shared experience and that community, and that really helped me, because as soon as I got here to town, there was people that I already knew of and had the opportunity to get close to, and that was helpful. Also, I have a partner in my life, Kirsten Thorne, who's just like a phenomenal person, and she doesn't take any bullshit from anybody. She doesn't suffer fools. She doesn't waste any time. And that process of having friends and then bringing that friend into my existence, which is, with a partner, Kirsten would always be a really great gauge for if the person really resonated with me, because I was lucky enough to have somebody that set standards in a way, you know what I mean? Like Kirsten was just, she always have had the closest of friends, and all of her best friends are friends she's had for years. She doesn't necessarily have a huge bath of all these different friends, but the friends that she does have, they're the best of friends. So I learned from her in a big way. It's also a matter of someone who sees you and accepts you. Like once you've found a set of things that make you feel like the best version of yourself, the gauge is, are you expressing yourself authentically, and are the people around you receiving that and responding to it authentically as well? And that's really what it is an exchange. But and it started from like this group of friends that I have now is, I feel like in the last year and a half, like I just found this really beautiful community. And it all stemmed from feeling like the best version of yourself, doing that thing you need to do every day, whether it's like, walking or making music or meditation or playing golf, whatever it is, you find yourself in a habit of doing what you need to do for yourself. And when you meet somebody else that you dig and you're authentic around them, and that exchange that's the best. And I haven't been authentically myself for a really long time. It's honestly, I think that's the big thing is I spent years and years, comparing myself to others, letting that comparison or that fear of not being good enough to stop me from, I actually started believing it, that I wasn't good enough. So as soon as I dispelled, and what it took for me to dispel that was making music every day and just showing up. And the goal wasn't make a thing. It was just show up, do the thing that you absolutely love, that you get lost in. And then as soon as I decided that I was good enough, I can produce, I can create community, and was confident that I could actually do that, then these people just came into my life. It just popped out of nowhere. You know what I mean? And I think there's a synergy to that.
It's pretty incredible what you find when you kind of stop looking. Sometimes you have to have the bullshit. You have to have the shitty friends to understand what caliber of person you deserve to have in your life.
It starts at home too, man. Like it's really all about having a safe place.
Yeah.
If you feel safe and accepted in your home, and you have that as a comparison to where you bring yourself to, you know what I mean? Like, can you feel at home with people without being in your safe place?
I mean, one of the things that I picked up from growing up, and my mom, my dad, and my whole family are very big on this, and this is kind of how I gauge where I'm at in friendships, and that's checking in. And that's kind of how I gauge where relationships are with me. If I feel like there's people that I enjoy calling because I want to hear their voice, because I want to make sure they're doing well, then that's somebody that I'm going to put all of the energy into. I think it's a special thing, especially when you're in somewhere like Los Angeles, which can feel very desolate and lonely, which is weird because it's so packed.
Yeah.
But it is very distant at the same time.
Once you find your tribe and the people you really, really dig, you don't ever have to deal with that. And then you're constantly inspired by your friends instead of threatened by the city or whatever it is.
And you shouldn't have to be. I mean, this is such a warm place if you find the warm people. And I guess that's a big part of it.
Easier said than done, though. You know what I mean? I've thought about this a lot, and I was inspired by the idea of humanity inherently struggles. Like a part of the human condition is we've always had to struggle. We've always had to fight. There's always been obstacles. Back in the day, we had to run from predators, or keep an eye on what we're eating because it will kill us. As part of the food chain, that's real struggle that you have to overcome every day. But now we've not sensitized. We've like sterilized our environment. We've put houses and roofs over our heads. We're no longer in that food chain anymore. So when you're not struggling in some type of way, your body or your mind finds other struggles to put in your way.
Which I guess is probably a good reason too. We have art now, and maybe didn't have that extent of it back then. Obviously, we're now in need of different ways to export our emotions and understand them, and have a form of self-therapy.
100%, man. I feel like, music for me was my chosen struggle.
Mm.
And when I found myself struggling at music, just as in an effort to get better every day, I didn't seem to struggle in other places. You know, if I had like put that time in that day and focused in and found my meditation in the context of creating music, then my brain didn't put up barriers anymore. So I was able to see clearer and be present with people. And those people that were present with me and wanted to listen or wanted to just share a moment, those are my true friends, you know. But it took making that choice for myself to struggle doing a certain thing every day, whatever it was.
And as far as music goes, you found yourself living with somebody who also works on a very high caliber, and you guys got the opportunity to build up this studio together and be able to bounce ideas off each other while also being incredibly independent in your form of music and as artists and producers. And that just goes to show, if you can find somebody who you trust what they do and you trust their skill, it's just another place to bounce ideas, and it's another way to grow and find ideas that maybe you didn't even know were possible before. And whether it's, you know, your roommate Devin, who also runs the studio with you, or if it's Ariel or me or whoever it is, we really use each other to build. And James the Eighth, who's going to be on next season.
James the Eighth.
That's another person.
James the Eighth. Watch out for James the Eighth.
That man is one of the more talented people I've ever come across.
Dude, he's like one of my fastest friends of all time.
It's unbelievable. He's hard to not just fall in love with his personality. He's
such a great guy.
He's so talented. He's
really
so talented. But that's really just everybody that I seem to come in contact with when I'm with you, Dallas and all these people and Jorkeski, and you know, like it's unbelievable, the community of absolute fucking shredders, absolute rippers, but also just a quality of human that you normally don't get the opportunity to come across.
Yeah. Well, you know, the thing is, like, all the people that are in my life now are people that after I've hung out with them today, I want to see them again tomorrow, whether it behooves me or not. You know, and that's the measure of really, really good friends. The ones who are just like, are you just going to come over later? Because just I want to be around you, you know.
What a good way to you know, set the bar. If you want somebody to come hang out again the next day, then you're probably forming a relationship that's true, that's special, that's useful, that's needed.
I want to shout out this. I'm going to take this opportunity to say what the value of a happy home. Devin is a huge reason why my life evolved, just because I found, well, I had a life partner in Kirsten that made every day juicy and delicious, and we had a shared goal of making a beautiful space. But the studio is a house, you know, so you can't live in a studio if other people in the house aren't along for the studio ride. But I was lucky enough to meet Devin years ago, also part of the like little Berkeley community that I'm really grateful to have been a part of. But he needed a change in his life. He was working for 8 years as a front of house engineer, sound engineer, brilliant guy, and we always stayed in touch. But him coming into my life and deciding to do the studio together, that we both wanted to make more music and have our hands on making it sound as good as possible. Having a team member that shares your dream and that will work with you every day on it, that is everything. So as soon as like our house became a place of love and a place of business and a place of creativity and good food, like just that core was so good and so juicy, and like that alone was enough to push me into the next level, or whatever that means. Just the level of bringing abundance in your life and putting abundance out.
Well, and everybody knows who's been to your house, to your studio, to your house, to that castle you guys have built, just of comfortability. Of it's like going to your house is the equivalent of snuggling up after a long day in bed with the most comfortable, clean sheets right out of the shower.
Oh, wow.
It's the best food. It's the best music. It's warm, the best animals. You guys have the most beautiful gardens that you guys just, it's incredible. And it's
the
really,
animals help a lot. That
the animals,
Tenchi, Kitty Mama, and then Luna, your little puppy Luna. I love that girl. on the topic of a happy home, so like when Devin joined in at the studio and we were able to build something that we're really proud of, building that happy home is building that place of comfort and that juicy spot where you're in line with yourself and your goals. And just an example of when you're in that spot, how the universe delivers people who are on that similar wavelength is we had Johnny, formerly Johnny Utah, come to our studio and make a record in January, which was really cool. It was the very first time we've had an artist come through and like rent out the space for multiple days. And something that was really key for that relationship and us, well, it was serendipitous because Kirsten and I had been listening to his big song Honey Pie for a couple months and didn't even know who the artist was. It was just like our cute little song that we'd share together. And somehow that must have put out a little beam into the universe, because one day we just get a random message on Studio IO that this artist wants to come and rent out the spot. And through a couple messages, we're like, oh my God, I think this is the Honey Pie guy. No way. And what's really beautiful about this is he came and he brought his dear friends like Ahmad Royal, who he brought his great friends, producers, David Marinelli, Ahmad Royal. Ahmad, really, really great guy. What brought us all together is we sat down every single night, and Kirsten and we cooked food for everybody every night. So we had this like at least hour and a half of time just sharing food and getting to know each other. And there was something about being a part of the experience together, like sharing our safe, happy home, that thing that we had shown up for, decided to build ourselves, sharing that with them in an authentic way while making music, sharing those goals, taking that time to get to know each other. Like those are some of my best friends in the whole world right now. And the value in our friendship is that we're working together, but every time we work together, it feels like we're supporting each other as friends too. And that's something really, really special that I feel like once you finally make that decision to show up for yourself, you can show up for your friends in a real, real way. And the relationships that you create come from that safe place where you share that authentic, that love, you know what I mean? That the love of the studio, the love of the process, the love of the music, and that makes long lasting, beautiful things. I'm really grateful for that.
And with that, thank you for absolutely everything. Thank you for being a mentor. Thank you for being a friend. Thank you for being on the podcast. And thank you for making such beautiful fucking music.
Oh, thanks, man. I hope people can hear it one day soon. As soon as I decide to put that shit out.
You heard that, everybody. Yeah. If this is out before his music is, then you know what to do. Go spam him. Go hit him up. Make him release it all. It's amazing. And to everybody listening,
I am Curtis Kelley, and this is an experiment.
The experience is the experiment.